You're listening to Never Heard of It, a Night Shift Radio production.
I feel like this is still like a very appropriate cat name.
Yeah, I mean, now I feel like it's the type of name that somebody gives to their cat if they're a psychopath because of this movie. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but it's just such a fucking cute name. So maybe I'm a psychopath?
It is just like a cutesy name.
Yeah. Whatever. I don't know, man.
I don't know either.
I don't know. So with that being said, hello and welcome to the Never Heard of It podcast. I'm your host, Michael Fight.
And I am the Coises. Does that work?
I mean, it's a stretch, but yeah, we'll go with it.
My name is Caleb.
Come on up, Caleb. Yeah,
Mr.
so
they call me Mr. Whiskers.
that's why my friends call me Whiskers.
Because I'm curious like a cat.
Because I'm curious like a cat. Oh, damn, Harry Carey. Great sketch. Hey, Norm, did you gain weight? Actually, I'm calling. Hey, if you was a hot dog and you were hungry, would you eat yourself? I know I would.
If the moon was made of cheese, would you eat it?
Mm-hmm.
It's a simple question. Just say yes and we'll move on.
Say yes and we'll move on. Next, we're going to get Einstein. Apparently, Einstein's been dead for several years. But we'll get him anyways. Here we are. Okay. So kids, way back in the day, when only YouTube was a thing and there was no social media or anything like that, people would just sit around and quote SNL, like Will Ferrell SNL years, just at all times. That's what we did instead of internet memes. Instead of texting each other memes or TikToks, we literally would just quote Will Ferrell on SNL, specifically Celebrity Jeopardy, Harry Carey. Shit.
Or as those who may listen to Left of the Dial will know, we would watch videos like the Poly Six.
And the body. Yes. Yeah, those were the hipster friends that I didn't hang out with. So I hang out with theater kids. We sang Broadway songs and quoted Will Ferrell.
Hey!
I've been a man's ear off on many an occasion.
You do that pretty well.
Yeah, I had many years of practice,
Yeah, that's true.
So this is a very special month for us. Well, I mean, it's really only a special month for Caleb, but we'll say that it's a special month for us as well. Caleb, why is this month so special?
Because I was born this month 39 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Hitting that 39.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting. So as is Nahoit tradition, and this is the third time we've done this, I believe.
It's got to be because
I'm pretty sure this is the third.
Where we're past the 2.5 year mark, so we're rolling on to almost the third anniversary.
Nice. So as is Nahoit tradition, Caleb specifically picked all of the movies that we're doing this month, and boy howdy did he kick it off with a good one.
I have been wanting to see this movie for so long, although I totally forgot when it actually released. I was just looking at IMDb right before we started recording, and it's only from 2014. And so if you haven't caught on yet, the movie that we're talking about today is called The Voices.
The Voices.
Starring a way too young looking for only 2014, Ryan Reynolds. And, and speaking of theater kids, Anna Kendrick as well.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I totally would have watched this movie sooner had I known she was in this movie. I didn't know. I thought it was Ryan Reynolds and a bunch of random people.
I knew that she was in it, and I mean, just Ryan Reynolds alone would have been enough for me to want to watch it because I am a fan. Way back to the Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place days.
Now that's 2 in a row that we've mentioned that specific show.
Right.
So Night Shift Radio, it's happening. We're doing a watch along.
But Yeah, I would have watched it anyway, but then also I will watch literally anything that Anna Kendrick is in and fight anyone who says otherwise.
I mean, fucking everything. I think one of the few movies I have not seen from her is Rapture Palooza, Apocalypse Palooza, Rapture
Oh my God.
Palooza.
Yeah,
I
Rapture
haven't
Palooza,
seen that.
very good.
Is it? Okay. I
Yes.
think that's the only one like I have not seen.
You should definitely.
Don't fucking yell at me. I will do it.
Just fucking do it already.
I will do it. So this movie came out a few years, about a year or two before Deadpool. But this is right around the same time that Ryan Reynolds had done the Deadpool test or leak. Oink, oink, oink. If those of you watching on YouTube, oink,
I remember
oink.
that.
Yeah, where they did a bunch of test footage of a specific scene of Deadpool, and it was very crudely and like CGI'd. And it was just kind of to see like, hey, would people be interested in watching a Deadpool movie? And somebody leaked the footage, and we've all pretty much come to realize that it was in fact, or the story that is told is that Ryan Reynolds took the footage to a company, and they were like, no, we're not making that. And so it was like, fine, fuck you. So he leaked the footage, that was shown at like a Comic-Con or something, and leaked the footage, and it fucking blew up on the internet, like blew up. And then, they were like, fine, we'll do your stupid movie. And then it made like $1 gazillion, and it was the like #1 most grossing R-rated comedy ever or something.
Oh my God. Yeah. Can you imagine like passing on that project?
Right. I mean, I get it, and maybe at the time, because like we're talking 2015 or maybe 2014ish or whatever, and like Iron Man is a thing. Like this is the height of like PG-13 superhero movies. Like you have the DC universe launching their stuff. You have all of the MC. I mean, like we're at like full on Avengers movies, and then you just being like, I just don't think an R-rated film is gonna work. Plus, it was Fox that owned it at the time. Now it's back under Marvel, but Fox owned it at the time, and Fox being like, "Yeah, idiot, we're not fucking competing with that bullshit." And then they fucking did it, and then they killed it, man. Deadpool is a great movie, still.
Well, to Fox's credit, they had managed to completely run the X-Men franchise straight into the ground
twice.
So
twice they did it. Not even like we fucked up that one movie. They fucking did it twice, and more specifically 3 times if you include Wolverine. They fucking ran 3 franchises into the ground, all with fantastic premises, and then finally they were like, fine, whatever, this fucking dude can go and make Logan. And then it was like one of the best like superhero movies I've ever seen in my life, like hands down. Logan is a brilliant film.
Such a good story.
Yeah, and it's just
I really hope we see more from X-23, Laura Kinney.
Yeah,
she's such a great character.
Well, I mean, she's as an actress, she's also amazing because she's in His Dark Materials over on HBO.
I keep forgetting that's her. Oh my God, that show's so good.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, she's great. So I'm very excited. I do also hope, she's even said that she would absolutely play X-23 again. I would love to see that. Like, give her a couple of years to grow up a little bit, have her be in, have her really like be trained like the character, have the character be trained and like ready to go, instead of like the, Logan just died and now what do I do? More like the, okay, I did my secret ninja training, over the course of this X period of time, and now I'm just a fucking cool assassin. I'm gonna slice people's heads off with my claw foot or something.
So I have an important question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Duncan Hines or Betty Crocker?
Oh, dude, Betty Crocker.
Thank you.
Yeah, never trust anyone named Duncan. Oh man, people named Duncan Twitter are coming after us.
Just making everyone angry.
Right. That's a subreddit, or so there's just an entire subreddit of like, my name's Duncan too.
r/the Duncans.
Yeah, r/Duncans. Oh man, that's a thing. It's happening. So the voices. So tell us about the voices. Caleb,
Yeah.
kick it off. It's your birthday month. You're the big birthday boy.
So the voices, as we mentioned, stars Ryan Reynolds and Anna Kendrick, and Ryan, his character Jerry, works at a ostensibly like a toilet and bathtub factory, like
Yeah, like a
bathroom
distribution
fixtures
center. Yeah.
of some sort, and he's in like the shipping and packing and whatnot warehouse, and he uh, he has conversations with his animals. He has a dog named oh shit, why am I brain? Bosco, which is a
Bosco.
great name, Bosco, and a cat named Mr. Whiskers.
Yeah.
And he talks to them, and
That's not weird.
He seems to have a pretty light and airy and cheerful, almost Disney-esque life. Sometimes he has cartoon butterflies flying around him as he drives and whatnot. And the world's a pretty good place.
Yeah.
They like him at work. They want him to help out with the company picnic. Things are going pretty good for old Jerry. Except we realize that Jerry has a court-appointed psychiatrist, but we don't know why.
We don't know why yet. Yeah. But we do know that. So in the very beginning of the movie, Jerry is home, after you kind of see him at work, and, he gets invited to like a special meeting, like a company, community gathering or whatever. And so Jerry heads home, and he's, talking to his dog, and you hear some Scottish person yelling off in the background.
Yes.
Like, Jerry, you're a fucker, like just whatever. And he's like, not now. And you're like, oh, he's got a roommate. He's got a Scottish roommate. Like, I mean, who among us hasn't had a Scottish roommate that just fucking swore at us all the time?
Yeah, I mean, everybody does.
Everybody does. It's a rite of passage. I'm just saying. And Jerry's a little weird. Like we get the impression Jerry might be a little socially awkward.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, not everyone has to be, as fucking fantastic as Caleb and I, and charming and witty at all times. It's cool if you're socially awkward. It's fine. It happens, man.
It's true.
That's a thing. People get into. You get over it. It's fine. And if not, call us. We'll help you out. We'll Cyrano de Bergerac the fuck out of your company meeting. Like, and now say, wow, what a fat ass. I really don't think I should say that in this meeting. No, totally say it. It's going to go over really well.
Yes. So do you think that there are ever actually any real life scenarios where someone has pulled off the like headset in the ear, like just saying what they're told to say, and like the people around them didn't catch on?
Yes, the movie Primer. That was the entire plot point of.
I mean, in real life.
I don't know. I feel like that's an experiment we should try, because like everybody has AirPods in their ears now. So like, how would you fucking know?
Fair.
I mean, that's got to be a thing. Like somebody probably had done it at some point. I don't know.
I want to know.
I want to know. Kissing and hugging. I don't know if those are the words, but they are now.
Yeah. So Jerry gets asked to help out at the company picnic. He's gonna set up the sound system.
Yeah, he's got a PA system. Yeah,
PA. I don't know why he has a PA. Maybe it's because he has a little apartment over a bowling alley.
Dude, which is so fucking cool. Yeah. I would have loved to live over a bowling alley. So, quick story. My ex-wife, when we were just dating, when we had first started dating and we were looking for apartments, we actually found this really dope apartment, but it was above a strip club. And we were like, do we want to live above a strip club? But it was like really, really like, it was like the strip club was the bottom floor, and then there was like a bunch of empty space, and then the apartment was like way, way up top.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
And we were like, do we really want to do this? So like we thought about it, and we were going to do it. Like we were ready to like pull the trigger and security deposit. The only downside is that the only way to get things in was through like a fire escape. And we're like, fuck, we're gonna have to drag like a couch and a bed up a fire escape. Like this is gonna be bullshit. And then, so we were about to do it. And we found out somebody that was living there at the time, and they were like, dude, my apartment gets broken into once a month. And we were like, nope, never mind. Damn. But I mean, it was really fucking cheap, and it was a really nice apartment. Like, it overlooked the whole city. Like, it was just really fucking cool. Like, it would have been really dope, but you know, I don't want my shit stolen once a month.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, just to keep having to buy shit, like eventually, like that cheap rent's it's not gonna offset that anymore.
I'd fucking have to work downstairs just to pay for the TVs I replace every month. I'd be like, move over, bitches. Daddy needs another TV. Somebody keeps fucking stealing mine.
The trick is to just not have stuff, and then when they break in, it just frustrates them. Like,
they break in and start leaving you things. They're like, oh shit, dude, I'm sorry. Here's a box of mac and cheese. Like,
I went through all this effort, and like feels like a real waste of time.
Like, bro, I'm sorry, I didn't know you needed help. Here,
I just feel bad for you now.
They just leave like $20 on the counter. Like, sorry, I'm sorry, man. We'll fix the door too. I'm sorry. That was rude of us.
My bad, bro.
Everyone struggles. It's fine. Yeah. Which is accurate. That time of my life, yeah, I could have used that box of mac and cheese and $20. That would have been great. Early 20s, man, poor as fuck.
Rough times.
That's how it be. That's how it be. And now I'm almost 40. You know, not so much.
Now you have a house.
I have a whole house. This is my my brand new studio foam. For those of you on YouTube, this is my brand new studio foam that I put up. And as you can see of how fantastic of a job I did over here. Okay, but like in all fairness, it lines up over here, but it's a little over here. So it's really the foam's fault and not mine. And, you know, whatever, dude. It was like $50. It did the job, but, you know, and it's actually super squishy. But it was really cool. So this came in like a super thin package. And then I would take it out, and they were like wafer thin things, and I threw them in the dryer for 20 minutes. These are the instructions that they said to do.
I was like, that's odd. Why would you do that?
Yeah. And then I threw them in the dryer for 20 minutes, and then I took them out, and they're these big fluffy waffles of foam. This actually looks like a waffle iron. I actually have a waffle iron that looks exactly like this.
Huh.
Now I want waffles.
Waffles
would be really tasty.
We had French toast yesterday.
Oh yeah, I made scrambled eggs this morning. Yeah, it was tasty, but I kind of want waffles. That's going to be dinner. Waffles for dinner. Waffles, waffles, waffles. Anyone that watches Teen Titans Go or has kids, they're going to be like, I know that song, you fucking nerd.
But yeah, so anyone watching on YouTube can now see the shift in your priorities from your streamer days where you had the green screen painted on the wall to your full-on podcast hosting days. You need that good sound dampening.
I do. I absolutely do. Yeah. As we were, talking before I started this episode, I still have my office door wide fucking open to my gigantic house that's now echoing everywhere. And I'm like, fuck it. It's hot. But whatever. It's dampening some. Kitsy will be proud. Our sound engineer, Kitsy, will be proud. Yeah. So Jerry, good old Jerry. So while we're in the meeting, Jerry he's laying it on thick for a specific girl.
Yeah, he's got the hots for Fiona.
Fiona.
She's from Reading, England.
Yeah.
And she's going to be in charge of the music, and she's got her playlist ready on her iPod, and she wants to do a conga line.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, like, it's 2014, 15 in this movie, and I feel like even that is probably about 60 years too old for a conga line.
Like, I don't know that I've ever actually enjoyed a conga line.
I feel like the only time you ever actually do a conga line is when you are doing so at the thread of your own life. Like, nobody is ever just like, dude, fucking conga line. They're like, fucking conga line. God damn it. Like, now I have to do it or everyone's going to be like, why aren't you in the conga line? Da, 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 bah. And I'm going to like, fuck, fine. But
peer pressured into a conga line.
That's the name of my next punk rock band album. That's our next album. It's going to be something like peer pressured into a conga line. That sounds like a Fall Out Boy song.
But yeah, seems like the party goes pretty well. People have a good time. They even enjoy the conga line. Uh, Even the people who complained about it being suggested to begin with seem to have a good time. And Jerry seems like he's really doing well at work.
He
to the point
is.
where the girls in the county even asked him to come out for drinks with them one night.
Oh, well, isn't that nice? And we do want to mention something about the conga line is do remember if you have not watched the movie yet, we're going to spoil it. I don't know why you would do that, but if you have watched the movie and now you're thinking back, remember the order of the people in the conga line because it is important. Yeah, it was very clever. So yeah, so Jerry's invited out to drinks, and then he's being Jerry, and again, he's socially awkward, and that's okay, man. Like, we're not going to shit on anyone that's socially awkward, dude. We get it.
Yep.
All right. It's a hard thing. Some people are really good at it. Some aren't. So I'm not about to shame you for that. However, Jerry's just a little bit, because he does that thing where, people are talking and everyone's having this conversation. And then he goes, I know Kung Fu.
I know karate.
And everyone's like, what?
Yeah.
Okay. Except Anna Kendrick's character, Lisa. Yeah. Lisa seems very, she's into it. In fact, she tries to get Jerry to drive her home. She was like, oh yeah. And then, she gets the feeling that maybe Fiona was interested in Jerry. And Fiona's like, I don't want to do this shit. What are you doing?
But yeah, it's really confusing because like she starts to try to like get Jerry to take her home. She's like, oh, can I get a ride back to my car?
Yeah.
I'm drinking. And then suddenly she looks at Fiona and like makes the like, oh no, I guess you probably had planned to take Fiona. And yeah, Fiona has shown no actual genuine interest in Jerry. Jerry's very, very much fancies her.
Yeah.
But she's shown no reciprocal interest. She's nice.
Sure.
But more tolerant nice than anything. In fact, she didn't want Lisa to invite him out to drinks to begin with. She was kind of giving the like behind the back, like, don't do it. No. But nonetheless, she agrees to allow Jerry to give her a ride, and it's pleasant. It's fine. And so he invites her to go to dinner with him over the weekend. He wants to take her to a Chinese restaurant that he loves, where they put on a real good show.
Dude, that was the coolest fucking restaurant ever. Right? Oh my God. Why don't they have more business? I'm so confused.
That's what we were saying as we were watching. Like, why is this place empty? Why is everyone in town not eating here regularly? They had an Elvis impersonator and
a Bruce Lee impersonator. Dude, this place was so fucking dope.
They had live fish swimming around in bowls on the tables.
It was so awesome. Cool. Man, fuck.
I know.
And so the name of this restaurant is called Shishan, which, Shishan is an actual restaurant. Like it's an actual like restaurant chain, but I don't know if this is a thing that they do, like if they're known for that.
We should find out.
We're going to tour America going to all the Shishans. That's just what's going to happen. So anyways,
that's literally my first goal post-quarantine.
Yeah. I mean, step one. So one of the things we learned, so Jerry comes home, and I don't know if we've learned this yet or if we're about to learn it now, but at this point, Jerry comes home and he starts talking about his date. And what we learn is that Jerry talks to his pets, which is fine. I talk to my pets all the time.
Oh yeah.
But his pets talk back.
Yes. We learned that his Scottish roommate is actually, in fact, Mr. Whiskers.
Mr. Whiskers' his cat. And we do learn that his dog, Bosco, does also talk to him.
Very good boy.
He's a very good boy.
He's a very good boy.
And so Bosco has kind of like, which way did he go, Bosco? Which way did he go? Voice. And Mr. Whiskers is, a very typical Scottish person. Now, a fun fact about this is that originally these voices were supposed to be done by other actors. They were going to be very specific actors. But Ryan Reynolds basically sent recordings in of him doing these lines in these specific accents of his voice with like this huge pitch to the director and producers being like, no, like these voices are in Jerry's head. They should still be Jerry's voice, but just detached, like different characterization. So this is what they call, it used to be called multiple personality disorder. In a way, it's more in line with schizophrenia, but it kind of lives in what used to be called multiple personality disorder. However, it's now called dissociative identity disorder, or DID. That is the more appropriate term, because multiple personality disorder implies that it is a complete shift in personalities, when in fact dissociative identity disorder is living as though like this is another person, like it is a physical another body, not actually you, that interacts with you. So there's a little bit of a difference. Guys, break out your DSMs. We're gonna flip through the Psych 101 shit. But yeah, so dissociative identity disorder is now the standard term for it. So Jerry very much shows signs of DID, schizophrenia. I mean, like hands down schizophrenia, and a little bit of psychopathy, because he does show emotion, but to the wrong things. And this is sociopathy is that sociopathy, often it's said like they don't show any emotion, but it's actually sometimes it's the wrong emotions. So that's another like aspect of it as well, is it's not just like Patrick Bateman going off killing everyone and then not feeling anything about it. Like sometimes it's finding insane laughter over gore, or crying crying profusely over something insanely happy, not like, oh, I'm happy for you cry, but like, oh my God, ugly cry, this is the worst thing in the world. So it's that sort of thing where like emotions don't trigger the way they're supposed to. And anyway, so this is now an abnormal psychology podcast. Completely shifted.
And we do learn actually that his mother had some of these traits as well, that she also heard voices that she referred to as her angels, and they revealed to her the deep secrets of the universe, which is something that I think we'd all like, voices that reveal the deep secrets of the universe to us.
Seriously. Yeah, mine just revealed the deep secrets of like my fridge, and that's
what is that smell?
There's a Pepsi you could be drinking. I'm like, you're right. Oh there God, is.
I want a soda. Fuck you. I've been doing grocery shopping on the side while we're doing this.
That's good. That's very productive. Multitasking.
I'm now fighting the urge to put soda in my cart.
Yes. No, don't do it.
Fiona has no real interest in going on this date with Jerry. She's just trying to be nice, and also Friday nights it's karaoke night for the girls. That's what they do. Rock on. And so she decides that she's just gonna wait till work is done, and like she'll leave him a voicemail. That way she can let him down without the confrontation.
Which by the way is just a real dick move on her part. Like just fucking be like, hey, I don't want to go out with you, or like, hey, I can't go out with you. I mean, she even has a really good reason to be like, we work together, we really shouldn't go out. Like fucking simple, like you have a simple clean getaway.
Nope. Even just, I already had plans. She did.
Right.
She forgot.
Yeah.
But anyway, she stands him up. He goes to Shishan, and he enjoys I can't say he enjoys the show. He takes in the show.
Sure.
And,
sure. I mean, he's obviously upset.
He's very sad. But after karaoke nights, and it's pouring down rain, and Fiona's car won't start, and Jerry just happens to be driving around town listening to music when he sees her in need of a ride. So she flags him down, and he goes to take her home, but on the way they're chatting. They're actually having a good conversation. I think she's warming up to him a little bit.
I think so too. It seemed like a really good conversation. Now, I do want to stop you for a second.
Oh.
So one of my fears of going into this movie, after hearing the brief description, I was like, dude, is this like? I was like, I kind of feel weird about this movie. Like, I'm nervous that it's going to be like some incel dude who just like kills people, like kills women that won't fuck him, and then we're like glorifying it in a way. And I was really concerned about that, but that is not what this movie is about at all. And in fact, now we'll get into why that's not the case. But I was very much concerned. So again, we do want to preface that we are in no way glorifying anything that, his behavior and what he does. I mean, we'll see what he does. I don't think it's related. But women, you don't owe anything to men. So
that's true. The Never Heard of It podcast also does not endorse serial killing.
Correct. Well, I mean, all right. I mean, some of us at the Never Heard of It podcast.
Officially, the Never Heard of It podcast does not endorse serial killing.
Right. On the record, anyways. I don't know what I'm going to be into in a couple of years. I don't want to. I don't want to put myself in a basket. Okay.
Don't limit yourself. You want options.
Right. Well, we would like to submit this podcast as evidence A in the case against this.
Nobody saw it coming. Actually, right. Your Honor, if we can refer back to October 4th of 2020.
Episode 146.
So as he's like giving her some trivia, it's like, there's only 4 angels named in the Bible. There's Gabriel, Michael, and Raphael. Who's the 4th one? And she's like, you're not going religious on me, are you? He's like, no. Like you're gonna like this. This is fun. Like, you just like, what's his name? She's like, I don't know, Freddie the angel. And she's like, no, you know this. You just like, you don't think of him as an angel. And all of a sudden, there's that classic like, oh my God, look out! And like the car goes careening, and he hits a deer, which comes straight through the windshield. And the car stops, and we see the deer speaking to Jerry, pleading to be put out of its misery, as it's suffering now, and so he obliges, which just completely mortifies the already like visually shaken Fiona, who just can't understand why he would pull out a hunting knife and just cut this deer's throat right there in front of her.
Right.
And he takes a deep breath and turns to her. It was Lucifer. The 4th angel's name was Lucifer. Just finishes the thought, which I gotta say, I can empathize with that. I would probably like have to get that out. Like,
yeah.
Like we had a whole conversation with the Second Edition 1 crew about how like I'm like will hold on to a thought through like any number of interruptions, like just to make sure that I come back to it and like, complete the thought, finish the sentence.
Dude, otherwise you think about that shit all night.
Yeah, so that would be me, and I can understand that. But she just sees a man holding a knife who just cut a deer's throat in front of her, and like panics and goes running off into the woods, which I guess like, yeah, I mean, this is kind of a weird situation, but like I wouldn't go running off into the muddy woods on a rainy night in my under things.
Yeah, because
she had taken off her wet shirt and was like wrapped up in a blanket of his.
Yeah.
Just because like we killed an animal, and be like, well, we should probably maybe like call for help or something.
Right. Yeah.
But she goes off running, and he chases after her, and trying to like, he asked me to. He was suffering and trying to explain.
So before we tell you what happens, let's actually take a quick break and leave you hanging, as we do. And so let's go ahead and take a quick break. Before we go, though, hopefully you guys have subscribed and sent us a rating over on Apple Podcasts, or subscribe wherever it is you're listening to us. That would be super dope. And then if you haven't checked out our website, what is our website?
That's thenahoit.com. That's THENHOIT.com. And of course, every month we keep that updated with the schedule of episodes for the month. Links to trailers, as well as where you can find the movie streaming if available, and you can also we did the month of September. We just came off a whole month of listener requests. We've got a request form on there. If you haven't yet submitted yours, you can do that there. And from there you can also wander around the rest of the nightshiftradio.com site and check out our other shows, and you can even check out our merch page.
Yeah, so lots of cool merchandise there, not only for just our show, but also for all of our other shows, which you can see by going to nightshiftradio.com/shows. Super cool stuff. But all right, let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, We will find out what happens. If you have not already guessed, if you didn't see the movie, or if you saw the movie, you know what's about to happen. We will be right back.
You're listening to a Night Shift Radio production. Night Shift Radio is a modern media company bringing you shows that entertain, inform, and most importantly, provide an escape. Never Heard of It dives into the world of bad, obscure, and sometimes just weird movies. Follow along with the crew of Set Condition 1 as they experience the 2004 sci-fi hit Battlestar Galactica, one episode at a time. Each week on Left of the Dial, we explore a new record or revisit an old favorite. We'll bring in guests to talk about their own music and the state of the industry. The Superpod Hero Cast, guys with beers talking about movies with capes. They draw a random comic-inspired movie from Thor's helmet and offer thorough, insightful, and humorous commentary. And once a month, tune into the Storyteller series and get lost in the magic of a good old-fashioned radio drama. Learn more about these fine shows at nightshiftradio.com and subscribe on your favorite platform.
Hello and welcome back. How you doing, everybody?
Hi.
No, wait, I'm waiting for them to answer.
Oh.
That was good. All right, I'm glad you guys are doing well. Somebody's gonna be like driving in their car, and they're gonna be like, "I'm fine, thanks for asking."
Everything's great. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
I am well. You know, it's been a rough couple of days, months, year.
It's really sweet of you to ask.
So when we left you, Caleb was telling us about a Jerry who is chasing after Fiona, who has kind of freaked out at seeing him kill this deer after he had just hit it, and he sliced its throat to like put it out of its misery. What happens, Caleb? What happens with Jerry and Fiona?
Yeah, so as
Fiona,
as she's running through the woods, she trips and falls, and he's trying to reassure her that everything's fine, but then he trips and falls on top of her knife first because yes, he brought the knife with him for some reason.
Don't run with knives, man, or scissors.
And he just he realizes kind of basically the same scenario as with the deer. He sees she's in pain, she's suffering. He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, you're suffering, I can help," and then stabs her in the heart. And then as he begins to really sink in what he's done, he just stabs her repeatedly while apologizing. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Oh man.
And that's when we realized that this is full on slasher film.
Yeah. Now, so content warning. There are a few, swear words and things like that. But there is some gore. I mean, there's some bloody things. We do see severed heads, guts, and things like that. But a lot of it, honestly, is done off camera. So following this scene, he brings Fiona's body, or he goes home and then he goes back out and gets Fiona's body and brings it back home. He does cut it up into little pieces. And takes her head and puts it in the fridge, but you don't really see, you see him cutting, the action of him cutting, but you don't actually see the cutting.
So a really awkward moment where you see her legs dangling over the the side of the table, and they're kind of twitching as he's cutting,
as he's doing the sawing.
So we learned from Jerry's psychiatrist that he's supposed to be on medication, and that the medication helps control his impulses and keeps the voices in check and whatnot. Although Jerry struggles with taking them because he feels like they kind of they even him out too much, to the point where it just takes all of the joy and all of the light and brightness out of his life. And we actually see a moment where after having this horrific realization that he's killed a person, and he doesn't want to do that, and he has this whole conversation with his animals about what that means. Does it mean he's an evil person? And the Mr. Whiskers just tells him no, you're just doing what's natural. It's animals kill and it's fine. I kill all the time. It's a cat, and cats do that.
Sure.
And Bosco just telling her like, no, you're okay. You made a mistake. You're still a good boy.
You're still a good boy.
You're still a good boy. And so he decides to take the medication, and we see the like stark difference from like, you know, he lives in this, you know, it's a small little apartment. It's above the bowling alley like we talked about, and I think the bowling alley is abandoned, so like it's probably just a cheap little place to live. And you know, it's not in great shape, but it seems like bright and airy and like a nice place to live. And then he takes the medication and you just see like it's just a very dark, dingy place, and like it's full of like garbage, and now obviously these like the body parts and
blood everywhere,
and blood everywhere, and the animals don't talk,
right?
Because animals don't talk. Those were in
what?
His head. And it's a really sad moment of seeing just like this complete difference of what his life is like on the medication versus the like happy, you know, if somewhat awkward and eccentric Jerry without the medication. And so he decides like he can't do that, so he stops taking it and like flushes all the pills down the drain, and he's gonna live his life.
Yeah. Now, mind you, we also have to point out too that the person that encouraged him to take the medicine was Fiona's severed head, who is talking to him through the fridge.
Yeah, he's decided to save her head in his fridge, like you do.
Like you do. Yeah.
And she talks to him, and she encourages him to take the medication because he fucking killed her. And
right.
She's a little salty about that.
Just a little upset. Yeah, she just wanted to go home, and now she's lonely.
But after he goes back on the meds, she realizes like those were rubbish, weren't they? Like we don't need to take those.
No,
just you know what you need to do. You need to find me a friend because it's lonely in the fridge.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Well, you mean like kill someone on purpose?" And she's like,
I mean, I didn't say no.
Definitely not telling you not to do that.
I'll wink. Yeah, and so meanwhile, Jerry's struggling with this idea, right? Like he's not really into this. You know, the dog is like, I don't think you should do this, and the cat's like, fucking kill people, why not? As most cats are. I assume most cats feel exactly this way normally, whether or not you can hear their voice. They're like, I don't know, go fucking kill someone, see what happens.
Almost definitely.
Oh yeah,
like constantly encouraging you to kill.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I don't have cats anymore. So Jerry, you know, goes to work, and he's just like, no, I'm just gonna, you know, head down, do what I need to do. And he runs back into Lisa, who we had learned in the beginning of the movie very much she's into him. She's kind of digging his quiet, mysterious vibe. You know, so again, people are socially awkward. There's somebody out there for you. They'll find you, they'll help you open up. Hopefully not this exact scenario though. So he ends up, you know, seeing Lisa. They go out, they have a good time. He ends up he brings her to his parents' house, and we get a little more. This is where we learn about Jerry's mom, how she had schizophrenia as well. She, you know, the cops are coming because, you know, it was kind of a rough thing, and so she ends up cutting her throat. And then asked Jerry to finish the job for her. Now, Jerry's just a child at this point. And so Jerry finishes the job, and this is why we learn Jerry needed a court-appointed attorney or a psychotherapist, because he is basically, they think he killed his mom, essentially.
Which technically he
did.
Yes.
Technically, yes, Jerry did in fact kill his mom.
Granted, she asked him to.
Right, and he was just a kid.
But you know, for one, like most people aren't going to be terribly understanding of the whole like, well, she asked me to do it,
right?
And two, like that's a very traumatic experience.
Oh yeah, 100%. So Jerry, you know, kind of has his emotional breakdown moment, and you know, Lisa still into it, man. She's still there for him, and
she's
so
very sweet.
And she was like, hey, you know, take me home. So they go to her house. They end up sleeping together, and, you know, they get up in the morning and everything's great. And he's super happy. You know, he's riding home and he's all excited. And, you know, he's really like oh my God, like this is like this is a great thing. Like I'm really enjoying this. And and so, you know, he goes to work and, you know, people are like, oh, Fiona's missing, her car's in the work parking lot. And he's like, anyways, Lisa. And they get caught in the copy room trying to get a little work touchy feely. And so they're
I love it because it's Allison, the other one
Yep.
from accounting, who walks in on them, and she's like, I can make a copy later.
But there's a great line. She was like, Jerry, you dog, to Anna Kendrick, and she goes, woof. Very cute. It's a very good line. But yeah, so at this point now Lisa asks Allison to get Jerry's address because she wants to surprise him and show up to his house with like a little gift. She says like, oh, just like a whoopie pie or something, just some sort of like fun baked goods. Now, first off, major HR violation here. Like,
yeah,
like you're about to get fired. Secondly, don't sleep with your coworkers. That's just like a really good rule of thumb. Like, don't sleep with people you work with. Unless you work at Apple, then you've likely slept with everyone you worked with. Or on a movie set, by the way. That's very much a thing.
Or Barnes and Noble, where I met my wife.
Sorry, it's just how it works. I don't make the rules. Yeah, I mean, sorry, I'm not making it awkward. You all know it's true. Yeah,
it happens. It's fine. Don't listen to Michael. He's judgy.
I know, dude. Just I can sleep with everyone, but wear a condom.
Yes.
Practice safe sex, or don't. You know, just master safe sex. Eventually, you know, they always say like practice safe sex, but like eventually, someone just like mastered safe sex.
Yeah, I mean, eventually you should be really good at it if you do it enough.
Right. And then you're no longer practicing safe sex. You're just having safe sex.
Yes.
So you can't say like, hey, practice safe sex. Just be like, hey, do safe sex. Like, you're not a virgin, right? Yeah, no, I'm not a virgin. Okay. So then just do safe sex. Like you're past the amateur part. You're now into like intermediate to pro.
I guess
like
you can go past practicing, which is more like developing the skill, and more into rehearsing, which is like continually refreshing and like solidifying your mastery of it.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that
rehearse safe sex, please.
Yeah, but I mean, eventually, you know, after your dress rehearsal, like it's going to be showtime eventually. You know, like the curtain is still going to open and you're just going to have to do sex, like professionally, I guess.
And when that time comes, don't flub it. Be safe.
And be safe. Yeah. Did we just encourage our listeners to be sex workers? Because that would be a pro. That's pro, you know, I mean, if you are a sex worker that provides sex as a service, you would be a pro safe sex.
Yes. I mean, I'm not encouraging them not to be.
Yeah. I mean, you know, again, is, you know, just do it safely. But you're a pro. I don't need to tell you that. That's fucking very condescending of me.
You've mastered it at this point. What do you need us for?
What the fuck do you need? I don't fucking know. I'm not a pro. This isn't my job. I don't fucking I make movies for a living, motherfuckers. All right. So Jerry and Lisa, they're having their thing and it's great. And Lisa's like, cool, I'm gonna come over and surprise Jerry. So she comes over and she knocks on his door and Jerry's like, fuck. Because he's like, I have the head of her friend sitting on my coffee table. And
he ended up talking to her.
Yeah, he was just sitting there talking to her.
Advice.
Right, as you do. I talk to all my severed heads. So so she knocks on the door. He opens the door and he was like, what are you doing here, blah? And he locks the door and he's like, oh shit, I got locked out. And she was like, oh, well, you know, blah. And he's like, I'll just go in through the skylight. And he goes in through the skylight. Meanwhile, Lisa is like an expert lockpick.
Yeah, apparently she locks herself out of her own apartment all the time, and so she's got really good at getting into places. Which, seems like Lisa is really good at doing things that maybe she shouldn't do.
Yeah, no, I'll agree. I mean, I mean, in all fairness, like outside of the fact that Jerry is like killing people, Lisa is also exhibiting some behaviors that I feel are also not mentally sound. Like there are many instances that Jerry sends off really bad red flags. Like, for one, it was very, very apparent that he absolutely wanted to fuck her friend, and she still went after him like a day later, and was kind of like, oh well, like.
I mean, he also took her to his childhood home with the intent to kill her.
Yeah.
Did
I mean, she didn't know that, but like, it was still really fucking creepy.
And she's like, "Oh, but my house is this way." He's like, "Can we go somewhere else?"
Yeah,
it's a surprise.
Well, and the worst part about it is that, like, she literally was like, why don't we go back to my place? A wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You know what I mean? Like, she's very much implying, like, I want to have sex with you. And he was like, no, really quickly, I want to go cry at my parents' house before anything else. Like, that should have been another red flag. Like, he took her to his parents' house and gave her this huge sob story. And then she was like, I'll sleep with you. And I'm like, oh, Lisa, honey, what do you need something?
That after she consoles him and says, "Look, take me home," and they walk out, he sets the knife down. Like, you didn't see that he had in his hand.
Yep.
And that's like the moment when he decides he's not going to kill Lisa because
not today.
She really, like, she makes him feel different. Like, he feels not alone with her. It's really sweet. Like,
no, but it is really sweet. Yeah.
It's like, oh, like they found each other. They found their people, and they're like, everything's gonna be okay. No, she finds out about the body and just like his nightmare of an apartment, and is reasonably freaked out.
Sure.
And he, again, just very much like with Fiona, tries to console her, like, no, it's fine, I'm not going to hurt you. She's like, please just just let me go. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have broken in, like, I won't tell anyone. And like, it seems like maybe she's just gonna like walk out and leave, and like he catches her and like tosses her back on the bed, and she hits her, like, you hear like her neck crack.
Yeah, wolf.
And she's like, oh. So he does it again. He's like, I'm sorry you're suffering. And there's head number 2 in the fridge. Fiona's got a friend now.
Fiona has a friend now. Yeah. And
just like she asked.
And it's not much longer before then he ends up killing Allison.
I mean, Allison is concerned because Fiona hasn't been to work for a couple of days, and now suddenly Lisa's not here, and she.
Yep.
Allison
and Jerry stopped going to work too, so neither Jerry, she can't get a hold of Jerry or Lisa.
She can't get a hold of them, so she's concerned. So she goes to Jerry's house, and Jerry answers the door, and then next thing you know, there's Allison's head in the fridge too.
Yeah, and again, so we mentioned earlier about the conga line. The order in which Jerry kills these people is the same order of the conga line that leads back to Jerry. So now, I mean, Jerry's freaked out at this point. He's starting to like come to his senses about having killed 3 people. He goes back to his psychotherapist, and he almost kills her too. Like, he gets pretty fucking close.
I love because he's telling her, like, I went off the meds, and like, I'm sorry, and it's like, I'm not in a great place right now. And she's like, well, it's okay. It's not like you killed someone. He's like, yeah.
I mean, it's
kind of like that.
It's kind of like that 3 times
like
over.
That times 3.
Yeah.
She's just
oh boy.
She tries to call the police while he's there, and like he tapes her up, and like it takes her way out into a field, and it's like, I need you to therapy me right now.
Right now.
She's just like, oh, like, everyone hears, like, has thoughts or hears voices, and like, you can't make them go away, but you can master them. And like, she gives this whole like really like deep insight, and he's like, wow, that was like 10 years of therapy in 10 minutes.
Because she says one specific thing, and it was everyone feels like they're alone, but you're not alone. And that was like his, or something like that. And he was like, what?
Yeah.
And that was the moment. That was the moment right there.
And so he decides to take her back to his place to then figure out what his next move is going to be. It will probably be to kill her.
It would definitely be to kill her.
But 2 other coworkers from the factory decide to come snooping around, and they see all the bodies, now 3, and they call the police. And so this whole like big SWAT team arrives, and Jerry's fucked, so he tries to like sneak out through like a shaft down into the bowling alley, but he accidentally kicks a gas line free, and a spark sets it off, and it blows up the bowling alley.
A tiny spark to set it off, explode. Night the dark, illuminate the unknown. My 4-year strong guys, what up?
And so, we have a final conversation between Mr. Whiskers and Bosco of arguing about, if Jerry should try to get free and continue killing, or if he should just sleep, just go to sleep.
Just go to sleep.
And he does. He goes to sleep, and Mr. Whiskers and Bosco part ways, like the angel and demon on the shoulders that they were.
I know. I love that little metaphor. That was really cool. That was a really cool thing.
And we go out on a really nice musical number.
Yeah, which I feel like is in Anna Kendrick's contract. Like every movie she does, they were like, all right, so we're going to do a musical number. And she's like, okay, fine. I will sing in your movie because I have an amazing voice. Fuck.
You're the one that sings, right?
God damn. I guess so. Oh, Maury. My girlfriend has a giant Bernese Mountain Dog. He's having a little thing. Maury, come here, buddy. He's very upset right now. He's downstairs. And then there's Diva like, don't you fucking dare. Yeah.
No, don't call him.
It's a thing.
Don't call him.
But yeah, so and thus our movie ends. So should you watch this movie? Fuck yeah, dude. You should absolutely watch this movie. It was a hilarious movie. It's great story. It's a really cool look at DID and schizophrenia and it's Ryan Reynolds and he's funny. You should watch this movie. Fucking Anna Kendrick and Gemma Arterton. I mean, like, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely ended up being darker than I thought it was going to be. I mean,
sure,
it's, a comedy about a serial killer.
Let's be real.
It was going to go down that road. It was a little bit more bleak than I expected, but at the same time, it was funny, was really good writing, excellent cast. Yeah, I mean, I would absolutely recommend watching it. I couldn't find this streaming anywhere. I did rent it. Were you able to find it?
No, I used to be on Hulu for a very long time, but it looks like it is lapsed off Hulu. So yes, so same. I also rented it. It was $4 to rent. I think it was only like $12 to buy, but I just rented it.
10 on iTunes.
Oh, 10?
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember when I put this month of episodes together, I swear it was available streaming. I even thought it was on Tubi, but I get.
No, it's I remember seeing it on Hulu because it used to come up as suggested for a few times and then it went away. I think it also was on Tubi, but then eventually it went away. But I just rented it.
Even like this morning when I was looking for it, it was listed as being available on Vudu for free, but it was not there.
It was not. Shame.
Yeah.
But yeah.
$4 for a movie night. I recommend it.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, you aren't going to the movie theaters, motherfuckers. Like, spend the $4, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, this movie is available streaming on video on demand, all sorts of cool places. Definitely check it out. And while you're at it and you're trolling around the internet, definitely check out our social media. We are on both Instagram and Twitter at The Nahoit Podcast. That's the NHOIT Podcast. Not only do we post clips of upcoming episodes or of past episodes, funny things, you can tweet at us or tag us in things. You're like, oh my God, you guys should do this movie. Someone actually just requested on our Instagram the movie Dutch, starring Ed O'Neill. Ed O'Neill and I don't remember who the kid was, but fucking Ed O'Neill Dutch, fantastic 90s movie. Just fantastic. So we should definitely check that one out maybe. But we'll see. It very falls in line in that like stay tuned, mom and dad save the world. Like it's very much in the sort of it's not sci-fi at all, but it falls in that sort of like 90s comedy, family comedy category.
Ethan Embry's all grown up now.
Oh yeah, Ethan Embry, that's who it is. Yeah. But yeah, so definitely check that out. And, of course, head over to our website, thenahoit.com or nightshiftradio.com/shows. And, of course, you've bought merchandise and that will be all the things I will sling your way to try to make sure this podcast stays afloat.
Yeah.
But if none of those things appeal to you, don't we have a cash tag?
Yeah, we do. I mean, you can always show us some support over on Cash App with our cash tag Night Shift Radio. If you want to help us be hip with the kids these days. We definitely appreciate that. I mean, as you can see, I don't have any lights on, and we want to help keep the lights on. No, that's just because I didn't want to wash out the video. It has nothing to do with finances.
It'd be cool nonetheless. So thanks a lot for joining us, everyone. We super appreciate it. Caleb, is there anything we need to add before we say goodbye?
I mean, definitely make sure that you if you're not already, make sure you subscribe so that you find out next week when we drop an episode about Harlock Space Pirate.
Oh, fuck. Yes, I totally forgot. I'm so excited. Holy shit, that's going to be amazing.
I very much had fun selecting the movies this month, so hopefully you enjoy listening to them. And of course, as we've said, let us know.
Cool. All right, guys, we will see you next time.